Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. Excuse me. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about astrology and famous astrologers. Now, first off, people have to understand, I think there might be a misconception with some people that, well, astrology is about Uranus. Uranus rules astrology and everything. Well, Uranus does rule astrology, but there's so many other elements in a chart that can give certain proficiency in astrology and be very astute in the subject. And I'm going to explain through talking about some of these famous astrologers' charts. That's not always just about Uranus. So anyway, well, first off, I've noticed that a number of famous astrologers have Scorpio prominent in their chart. Renowned astrologers Liz Green, Alan Oken, and Stephen Forrest all have Scorpio rising. They all have it in that third decan, which of course is Cancer, so they add a more nurturing, sympathetic, caring energy, I believe, into that, and a lot of it into their chart readings, I believe. Now, Robert Hand has a Scorpio moon in his fifth house of enjoyment and creativity, so he obviously sure really enjoys what he does. And when you're, Scorpio moon people can, be have a certain, perhaps, Scorpio-like things can be an emotional need for those people, which could include astrology, supernatural, occult subjects. I had a friend of mine that has a Scorpio ascendant and Scorpio moon. I can remember one time him walking around with a Ouija board strapped to him on his back. And anyway, going back to Robert Hand, he has the Scorpio moon give an emotional need for astrology, and something, of course, he could really enjoy and apply creativity into it. It makes a trine to his Cancer ascendant, so this could be blend very well with that Cancerian tenacity and care, and really, and I'm sure he incorporates a lot of like past life views into this as well, because Cancerian energy, of course, could be about reminiscing and, well, actually going into the past. So I'm sure he's very astute in terms of past life astrology as far as that theory goes. Now, another person I want to talk about as far as a famous astrologer is prolific astrologer Bob Marks. Now, Bob Marks has a Pisces ascendant. Of course, Pisces can be connected with the metaphysical. Bob Marks, I believe he was studying chemistry for some time until he finally said, well, I'm going to just, basically concentrate my energies into astrology and go full throttle as far as that goes. Now, of course, Pisces can be connected with chemistry and also the metaphysical, which can include astrology. Now, Bob Marks also has a grand Earth trine configuration in his chart, which includes Uranus in Taurus in the second house of income, which I believe could give much pragmatism and practicality into his astrology teachings. And also in his chart, Bob Marks has Uranus involved in a Yod configuration, and with the Sagittarius MC, the midheaven, being that apex point of it, so he's able to incorporate that, a lot of that Uranus energy perhaps into teaching and even philosophizing about the subject of astrology, perhaps. So anyway, people might wonder about me. Now, I don't consider myself like a famous astrologer or anything, but like in my chart, well, Uranus does play a role in mine, I think, in terms of my interest in being enamored with astrology. I have Uranus making almost an exact conjunction to my sixth house cusp, and also it's involved in a long grand air trine configuration, which involves my Aquarius MC and involves my moon in Gemini in the first house. So my Aquarius MC is also at 1 degree Aquarius, and I think when you have like something, a prominent point in a chart at 0 or 1 degrees, especially fixed signs, it's about permanency. It could be about, like in my case, the way it may manifest perhaps is, well, once the astrologer, always the astrologer. So I think that's something about my reputation that will always be connected with me, even if I took a break from astrology for a protracted period. Now, another thing too, I have Pluto in my 5th house of enjoyment. Pluto, of course, could be connected with the occult, which can include astrology. So it's another reason why I'm very, I believe I'm very, I really enjoy astrology and feel like I have this indelible connection to it. I also have Neptune in the 7th house, which could be somebody could be a speaker on the metaphysical, which could include astrology. Now, and the ruler of my 8th house in the 6th house, the ruler of the 8th house being the occult, which can include astrology, being in the 6th house of the daily routine and work. Now I want to go to David Lawrence Palmer, aka the Leo King. Of course, he's a YouTube, celebrity astrology. He's obviously very good. He has manifold favorable placements for being proficient in astrology, and including he has the ruler of the 10th house of career in his 12th house of the metaphysical, which can include astrology, and conversely, he has the ruler of the 12th house in the 10th house of career, and also too he has Saturn in Scorpio, which of course Saturn in Scorpio, Saturn can sometimes be the career indicator in some cases, and of course Scorpio can be associated with the occult, supernatural, astrology as well, and I think some of that plays that role in him having that work as an astrologer. He also has Neptune and Pluto at 29 degrees, which I see as the full culmination energy of those planets. Neptune, of course, can be connected with the metaphysical, which includes astrology, and Pluto can be associated with the occult, which can include astrology as well. He has both of them at 29 degrees, so this is like a very full throw. This is a lot of that, again, that full culmination of that energy with those planets. So another thing too is really he also has Neptune conjunct Jupiter, and of course that could add fortune. Perhaps it could be very fortuitous for astrology, or adding luck and fortune in connection with the metaphysical. And the fact he has Jupiter in Capricorn making that conjunction to his Neptune, that could give a strong business acumen in conjunction with the metaphysical as well. He also has a Yod configuration, which I consider a Yod configuration. It might be somewhat controversial to some, and it's subjective. Some people may not see the Black Moon Lilith as a point that can be used in a Yod configuration, but I'm going to use it, and you can maybe some people may say it could be a weak Yod configuration. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. Well, he has the Black Moon Lilith in Pisces in the 8th house, and that's that apex point of his Yod configuration. When you have the apex point in the Yod configuration, could be that action point, that finger planet point in the chart, which could direct that person to a course of action. Now, the Black Moon Lilith is not always about the negative manifestation of the energy connected with the sign and the house it resides in. If you can embrace the higher power of it, and he has the Black Moon Lilith in Pisces again in the 8th house, embracing the higher power of it, I think the way it may have manifested with David could be that he has incorporated spirituality very strongly into astrology, and the 8th house can be again connected with astrology because it's connected with the occult, which could include astrology. And he also had, and I think that is where, I mean, when you have a yacht configuration, it could lead to very monumental, prodigious achievement, which of course he has become that in connection with incorporating spirituality into astrology. He also has the ruler of the 3rd house and the 12th house, which of course could be an indicator of somebody that could be a communicator or a speaker on the metaphysical, which could include astrology. Anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment for astrology and famous astrologers. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about astrology and famous astrologers, part 2. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.